Hello, everybody. Okay, so first off, there was a lot of talk about a counteroffensive in the spring um, by Ukraine, a Ukrainian counteroffensive in the spring. Um, People have differed on where they think the attack could come. It could come maybe Vuhledar, or who knows. I don't think there will be a spring counteroffensive. I don't think it will happen. Uh, there is one there's one place that I think, and I'm not going to tell you where because it's kind of like a anyway. There's one place where I think Ukraine could do a counteroffensive, and if they do a counteroffensive there, it would be pretty exciting. But I don't actually want to talk about it, where it is, but it is a place where that's the only place I could see them counter attacking. Other than that, I don't think there will be a counterattack in the near future. Right now, Russia, I believe, will continue their offensive, whatever, if you call this an offensive, whatever they're doing now, they're going to continue doing now. And also, I want to say the reason I don't want to say where that one place is because if they do attack there, I actually want it to succeed. But I think Russia will continue attack, their current attacking, whatever they're doing now. I think they're going to continue doing it for as long as possible. I think they're going to continue pushing on Bakhmut. I think they will continue pushing in Vuhledar. Um, they might. I think they might. I don't know for sure. They might try to attack Orkiv. Um, they will. I think they'll continue attacking Avdiivka. I think they'll continue trying to flank Marinka. I think they're going to continue all of these attacks for several more months. And I think Ukraine's plan is to basically grind down these attacks and destroy as many of the Russian forces as possible during these attacks. Um, and I think Russia will be able to do these attacks until around June or July. And then June or July, I think Russia will run out of armored vehicles and trained infantry. They'll probably have more mobilized by then, but they'll run out of trained infantry. They'll run out of assault infantry, which is really the most important type of infantry. And I think they'll really be very low on armored vehicles. So I think like BMPs, BMDs, BTRs, and tanks. So I think in June Russia will be weakened through their own offensives. And I think um, after that, Ukraine will attack. This is what I think. So I think that would be like a late summer, like maybe July or August attack, if not an autumn attack, like September. So I think like July to September is around the time I expect Ukraine to attack, except for that one place that I don't want to talk about. But there's one place that I think they could attack, and this is not that one place, but there's always the potential of a Ukrainian attack across the Dnipro. There's always the potential that they will force the Dnipro. Um, you can never rule it out. It's unlikely, but you can't rule it out. It's possible they force the Dnipro. Who knows where on the Dnipro? It could really be anywhere. I mean, I doubt it would be near these islands. I think it would be, I don't know. Who knows? I it would probably, I would think somewhere where there's not a city and not these islands, because these islands cannot support heavy machinery. So you can't like move stuff here and then attack. Like that's impossible. So I think they would attack somewhere where it might be easier, like maybe here or something. I don't know. I'm not a river crossing expert. So getting back to the question of do I think this will hurt their counteroffensive? No, because I don't think there was going to be a counteroffensive. Will it hurt their long term ability to fight? Only if they fail to train new troops. They have to train new troops, and they need to train them to a high standard, and they need to do it a lot. They need to produce a lot of infantry of high standard. They need to produce NATO quality infantry by the tens of thousands. Like they're probably going to need, realistically, I think they're going to need maybe 300,000 more quality infantry, and they need to produce it. And this is a cultural issue. This is a cultural issue in Ukraine. I don't mean Ukraine as a country. I mean Ukraine as a military. It's a cultural issue at the highest ranks, like their highest generals. Not Zelizhny. He is good, but the guys kind of beneath him, the generals beneath him, they have a Soviet mindset. Most of them, not all of them. It's also an issue in the Zelensky government, where they are for like political and ideological reasons, they're not willing to make the changes necessary to make a better military, and it's unfortunate. It's getting people killed, but that's just the reality of it. I don't necessarily think that the Western tanks are linked to an offensive. I think personally, I think the Western um, airplanes will be linked to the offensive. I think when you start hearing of like I don't know F-16s or tornadoes or whatever planes are going to be transferred, I think when you start hearing of those planes, that's when the offensive is coming. The offensive, I think, will be built around planes, not tanks, because um, breaking through these southern defenses is not going to be easy. Breaking through any of these defenses is going to require air power, and air power is going to take a long time to implement because in the beginning of using the air power, you'll be able to drop like glide bombs, like JRAMs or whatever. So you'll be able to drop those bombs reasonably safely. But in order to really progress in uh, an offensive, I think you're going to need to degrade the Russian air defenses. So you're going to be needing to run wild weasel type operations, hunting down Russian radar and taking it out. I think you're going to need some sort of weapon to take out Russia's short range air defenses. Um, I think you'll need, I think, probably drones to take out their short range air defenses, and also their medium range air defenses. I don't think you can really do it with aircraft as easily, because it's more dangerous because they use different types of radars and whatever, so they're harder to hit um, in your wild weasel type missions. But anyways, so I think it's going to take an air campaign to really take this out, and also an air campaign is not just airplanes; it also requires missiles. Which is another kind of point that I don't really want to talk about that much because they might have an expert coming to talk about it. But um, Ukraine seems to have their long range missiles. Um, they might be ready to go soon. Um, there's evidence that what was it this weekend? Um, they may have hit somewhere in Crimea with a long range missile. I think in theory, this missile has a range of like 1,500 kilometers, if I remember right. Something like it's long range. I don't know the exact number, but it's a long range weapon. And I'm not a missile expert, although I'm trying to get a missile expert on to this show, so that could be soon. It might be on Thursday, and yeah. So I think a truly successful offensive from Ukraine will rely first on these long range missiles, taking out taking out things like the Russian air bases, damaging their ability to do air defenses. Then, second, I think that you need air power first to take out the Russian air defenses in like a wild weasel type situation, and then second to take out the Russian forces themselves, and then third is the offensive push, where you send your forces in. I don't think Ukraine can realistically take back a lot of land. They might be able to take out like some land, but I don't think they can take back huge chunks without um, without air power and long range missiles. I think if I think the earlier the attack is in order for Ukraine to attack right now, they would need Russia to withdraw forces. They would need to withdraw so many forces from one place that they can't defend it anymore, which I think is really unlikely. But um, the places where you would expect Russia to send forces would be like Bakhmut, Avdiivka, and Vuhledar. So those, I don't think Ukraine would do attacks in any of those three places. So where would Russia withdraw forces? They are sending forces to this kind of Zaporizhia area, the Kamyanska Orikhiv area. They're sending people here, so I don't think that's it. So Hulapole area is possible, I guess. Vuhledar, no. Um, uh, there's this Horlivka area, which is not great, because you'd be fighting a city, and fighting in a city is not fun. Uh, and there's the Bakhmut area, which I doubt they could. I mean, they could attack kind of maybe the southern part of Bakhmut, where Russia is really on the defensive in this position, and Ukraine does regularly attack here, like several times a day, attacking, and they also have forces in Konstantinivka. So I guess it's possible Ukraine could push and attack, sort maybe like towards Zaitseve, or maybe towards like Kodema. Like it's possible, I guess. This northern flank, it's possible, I guess, like in theory, you could attack like Solidar maybe. That's not, I doubt it, but it's possible. Um, the this kind of area around Sperna and Vasily, like I guess you could attack Berestove or Mykolaievka, maybe. Mykolaievka is very heavily defended, but you could maybe attack here, I guess. I doubt it, but um, attacking Verkno Kamyanka. I mean, this Verkno Kamyanka, if Russia pulled guys out of here, maybe could be a juicy target. It could maybe be a juicy target because you're really close to Sperna. Right here, like right here is the peak of this hill. So if Ukraine kind of gets up into this kind of area near the peak, they'd be more or less on even ground with Verkno Kamyanka. And I mean, if Russia withdrew enough forces from here that I guess it's possible Ukraine could, push up the hill and take Verkno-Kamyanka and Zolotarivka, and once if Ukraine controlled this hill, then that could open up an attack on Lysychansk. That could happen. It's possible that you could move up through Shipilivka and into Privilia, and then threaten Rybizhna. Like that is it's possible. Very unlikely, but it's not like wouldn't be impossible. Um, Attacking Kremina is always it's a possibility. It's a low likelihood, I think. And the same with Chervono Popivka, low likelihood. Um, and then kind of up through the north, if if Ukraine could ever figure out a way to take Vilshana, that would be really big for them. Obviously, you would have to take Liman Pershi first and cross this river and attack Vilshana from the north. That is a very low likelihood event, but would be possible. So these are kind of the areas where Ukraine could attack. I think they could attack near Kupiansk. They could attack near Kremina. They could attack near Privila. They could attack near Verkno-Kamyanka. They could attack near Berestove. They could attack near Solidar. They could attack near Kurdyumivka. And I think that's about it. And all of these attacks are low likelihood. I'm not saying any of them will happen. I think they're unlikely. Okay, I banned the troll. Can everybody stop fighting now?